Wonderful. Hello and welcome back to Chatting with Chargle. I had this vision of myself recording this episode in a hammock in the middle of the woods. And you know what? Here I am. I say I want something, suddenly it's happening. Thank you to my wonderful friend Murphy. We just camped the night in the middle of West Virginia, made it through without getting killed or kidnapped, despite my parents' wishes. And so Murphy's packing up the tent. We're getting ready to probably haul ass out of here. But I thought, you know what? No, I need to sit and record a Chatting with Chargle in the middle of the woods. So here I am. Here I am. Now, there are a couple of things I want to say. But first off, let me say that I was in the grocery store the other day. And I thought to myself, I feel like if you... Okay, let's start with a hypothetical situation. Hypothetically, you get into the grocery store and you see an apple and you're like, wow, I could go for an apple right now. I feel like if you are able to finish that apple before you leave the grocery store, it should be free. Point blank, period. Like, it's a matter of respect at that point. Like, okay, of course you can't go in there, do a 24-hour Walmart challenge and just eat everything in sight. No, it's like, if you're on a normal grocery run, I'd say the last, 30 minutes, you'd say. And if you find a snack that you want to enjoy during that grocery run, and then you finish it before you leave, that's free. Are you kidding me? That's gotta be free. Alas, I've never been the person to enjoy foods in the grocery store that I haven't, bought or paid for, because I feel like, that takes away from how much fun you're going to have when you get home, when you finally get to break open that box of animal crackers that you just purchased. So that's a me thing. But there are other people who love eating things in the grocery store. I'll never understand them, but I respect them. And that's why I'm saying, if you finish it before you leave the grocery store, I feel like it should be free. Thank you for listening. My second point. This morning, Say Don't Go and Long Story Short have been stuck in my head all morning. And we have yet to find out what surprise songs Taylor Swift has played night 2 in Singapore. We don't know yet. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if she plays Say Don't Go or Long Story Short, just say that I called it. If she didn't, just pretend I didn't say anything. And lastly, my main topic for this video is this idea that was presented to me almost 2 years ago at this point, and I have not forgotten it. And it has, in fact, affected my life in more ways than one. And it's the idea of a scrambler. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what is a scrambler? Hell, I asked ChatGPT a little bit ago, what is the definition of a scrambler? And they said, one who scrambles. And they also said it has something to do with, motorcycles and bikes and stuff. And one who scrambles, I completely agree with that definition. I know nothing about bikes and motorcycles, so I can't confirm nor deny, this is not me denying, that scrambling or a scrambler or any type of scrambler variant has anything to do with motorcycles. But one of my teachers was setting one of his ballets, and we were going from one formation to another one, and it was a very clean, methodical transition, and it was very pleasing to the eye. But then he said, now, we need a scrambler, and he did it just like that. Something he does a lot, which is very funny that I'm recording this now, because he was in my dream last night. It was simply traumatic, because he was very disappointed in me in this dream. But maybe that's a story for another time. Or maybe that's a story that will never see the light of day. This is annoying the hell out of me. Oh, that's my own sleeping bag. Don't look at that. Anyway, this idea of a scrambler. So there were two groups moving very methodical, and he goes, bah, we need a scrambler. And what he did was he had two people run this really weird route to get to their places. And at first it seemed a little chaotic, or what is this man thinking? But the more I thought about it, it's because those people were so in such a weird pathway, it kind of made you appreciate how clean and methodical the rest of it was, if that makes sense. Because those two people were running like chickens with their head cut off, you could see the rest of the chickens walking with dignity. And so I've never really forgot this idea of a scrambler, and I've tried to find it in his other pieces that he's set for us or things that he's choreographed recently. A Subaru Outback just left. Oh, and someone's coming. That's pretty awesome. I've tried to look for this idea of a scrambler in his other pieces, and like I've seen it sometimes, or I've seen it in different ways, but this idea has really evolved in my head to not just be associated with dance or ballet or anything like that. Like, and it's become like such a big, broad idea that I am kind of obsessed with. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it, because I want to see how big this thing can get, how scrambled this scrambler can scramble. Anyway, so like I was thinking too, what are some simple ways that I like to use a scrambler? This computer my computer does the same thing. Maybe if I full screen it, it'll stop doing that. It keeps like pretending like it's gonna shut off, and I just can't stand it. Maybe you think I learned. I'm a professional at this point. It's my second episode. You should think that I would have learned. Anyway, also, I'm recording this on Murphy's laptop because I forgot mine in Poolesville, and now I'm halfway to Ohio. How am I gonna get this laptop back? I use my laptop every night, every day. This is essential to my well-being. Well, that's a little traumatic. But how am I going to live life without this computer? I don't know. And you guys will be in a front row seat to that. Well, I guess maybe not, because I can't really record chatting with Chargle without my laptop, because I use my laptop for video. And once I get back to Ohio, I have my fancy little mic that I'm going to use. But I use my phone for audio because I care about you. Anyway, just thought I'd let you guys know that I'm struggling. Also, my phone is on, 8%, 7%? So if the audio cuts out halfway through, you'll know why. Anyway, I'm thinking about small ways that I see a scrambler in my everyday life. And the first thing that popped into my mind was my socks. Now, I am a subscriber to the Awesome Socks Club, which means every month I get a pair of new socks from a new different artist, and all the proceeds go to a different charity every month. And I like to think that my socks kind of exist separate from the rest of my outfit. It's like, you know how people were talking about Mary-Kate and Ashley match, where like you can tell that they go together, but they're not explicitly matching. I feel like that's how I feel about my socks. Like, I want them to be a part of the outfit, but they're its own entity. You know, it's not something that it makes you appreciate the rest of the outfit, because the socks are also just like, oh my goodness, it's doing the thing. Because the socks are also like a part of the outfit, but it's part of my expression. I didn't like that. Anyway, and I would say like a sock is a scrambler. Like, if you have weird funky socks with your outfit, that's a scrambler. Same thing with nails. My best friend Bim just did my nails. They're kind of giving, like, you know, in SpongeBob they have like the flags on the Krusty Krab. That's what it's giving. They're already kind of chipped because I simply went camping last night, but they're just beautiful, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. But yeah, nails are a different type of scrambler, where I feel like they don't have to match your outfit or what you're doing that day. Like, I went to an audition with these nails, and everything was fine. And I feel like it just gives insight to who you are, and it's a scrambler of the mundane. Like, I would be in school. I remember when I did school. I would be in school, and I'd like had done my nails the night before. Then I'd come out and start like typing on my little laptop, and then whoa, what are those? And suddenly I had the energy of 1,000 suns, and I could tip, tap, click, clack a little way on my little keyboard because I had these beautiful nails. And it's just like little simple things like that kind of open up, like make you not appreciate, but I don't know, that just give you a different way of thinking about things. Like, another thing is I wear the same gold hoop earrings every single day. My grandma got them for me in Christmas of 2020, and I haven't taken them off since, except when I purchased a pair of silver hoop earrings in April of 2021. And then my life has been divided in gold hoop earring era and silver hoop earring era. And when I was in Orlando, I lost one of the silver hoops, so I've been perpetually in this gold hoop era. But like, I swear to God, there would be times where I would be gold hoop, gold hoop, gold hoop. Then I'd switch my earrings. The only thing about me that would change was my earrings. I felt like a whole different person. That's a scrambler. That is a scrambler. It's like when you change your phone wallpaper, and now every time you open your phone, it's like a different feeling you have. It's weird. It's so weird how something so little can affect simply everything in your life. And so, while I was brainstorming ideas for this video, I started thinking about the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I had just seen it. And if you're familiar with that movie, well, let's start with, if you're not familiar with that movie, good luck understanding this next portion of the video. But if you are, you're going to just have a blast. Well, you know what? If you haven't seen the movie, pause this right now. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. Text me for my password, and I will give it to you. Well, Netflix is doing that cracking down thing. You can find any movie illegally online if you work hard enough for it. Close enough redirects and porn ads, you can do it. Sorry, I just had to check if my phone was still recording. And it is, unfortunately, for you. Anyway, so the whole movie is about how, like, your consciousness can be split, or it can go into a body of yourself in a different dimension or a different universe. And the way that these dimensions kind of exist is if you make a different decision. So early in the movie, it was, you know, she was seeing herself if she didn't follow her boyfriend to America. She was seeing herself if she followed her dream of becoming an actress. She was seeing herself if she became a legendary kung fu fighting machine. And like, it was all very expected variants of her life currently. Like, things that we could see happening, things that we can associate with ourselves. Like, I was watching it thinking, what if I never moved to Cincinnati? Or like, I was thinking, what if I went to normal people college? What if I actually majored in musical theater, you know? And like, it was very relatable. But then there was one like variant or dimension where everyone had hot dog fingers. And that was the first kind of ploy the movie used to demonstrate this idea of infinicy, or how there are an infinite amount of dimensions, equally as absurd, equally as, like, relatable, if that makes sense. Like, as many relatable universes there are ones that you cannot even fathom. There are ones where people have hot dog fingers. And, like, then after that kind of demonstration, or that little thingamabob, the movie kind of went off the rails, where, like, there's a dimension where she's a piñata. There's a dimension where her and her daughter are just a rock. And she can see herself in every single dimension, whether or not she's actually physically human or not. Or she can see every single version of herself. And that includes a version of herself when she's a piñata. All this to say, that hot dog thing was the scrambler for the movie. And I feel like a scrambler doesn't even have to be like a change. It can just be something that like opens up a new way of thinking. So like in the movie, we kept thinking that all these dimensions are going to be normal. But the movie really wants to hit home that there's an infinite amount of everything everywhere all at once. And it's so great. And Murphy and I were talking about this yesterday, and I brought up in Rick and Morty how like Rick and Morty kind of have like the same view about the universe and stuff like that, how nobody belongs everywhere. Nobody belongs anywhere. And, you know, Rick, I feel like, is struggling with that fact, but Morty has accepted it. And like, I've kind of been in a place in my life where I feel like nothing matters so much. Like, every little decision you make affects your whole life. So like nobody belongs anywhere, and that's why it gives you peace of mind, I guess. I'm making no sense, but I don't really care. Like, nothing matters so much so that everything matters. Anyway, that's the idea of a scrambler. Something that can open up a new way of thinking, or something that can, I just don't really, oh well. something that like sets a movie up on a different course, or like in a book where, you know, there's like this catalyst event that starts the events of the book, starts the rising action. Like the catalyst event is the scrambler, and it's something that like changes the protagonist's life in a way that they can't just ignore it anymore. And like it's so silly how a scrambler can be so small as like something like my socks, the socks that I choose in the morning, to what if I stayed at home and didn't move to Cincinnati? So it's a weird time. But then like I got to thinking a little bit deeper, and it's like, how much do we complain about the mundane and complain about every day being the same and complain about how we wish things were different? And then we're all so resistant and try to push out any change that comes our way. Like when a new kid comes to school, we bully them relentlessly. Well, not we. I was always really nice to the new kid. Okay, little tangent. I feel like if I was the new kid at a different school, I would just simply slay. Had I moved schools, I would be the best at it. Like, not that there's any, all kids who transfer schools are angry right now, but like if I was the new kid at school, I'd be like, I would simply slay. Anyway, tangent over. But like, how many times in our life do we block out any change that could come our way, and we actively avoid change and then complain that everything is the same, and complain that, oh my God, I'm reliving the same day every day? Like, I'm guilty of this too. You're guilty of this. We're all guilty of this. And it's like, I feel like we need to be a little bit more open to a scrambler in our lives, because it can change you in a way that, I don't know, like maybe it'll change your life in a way that makes it more successful, or makes you more depressed or more anxious, or makes you feel like the best you've ever felt in your life. But how much of a privilege it is to feel all those emotions. You know, Lily Reinhart, she talks about how, I can't even remember what it is exactly, but if your soul is like simply on a mission to feel every emotion possible, like how do you make that happen for yourself? You put yourself in situations where you're outside of your comfort zone. You're outside of your own box. You scramble your life so much that instead of having an egg white and an egg yolk, you're simply an omelet. Yeah, I think that's it. I would like the record to show that I just checked my Twitter account. Taylor Swift played a mashup of The Story of Us, and you guessed it, Long Story Short. So, call me crazy, but the Tay Voodoo is Tay Voodooing, and let me talk my shit, okay?